Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we're going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. And welcome to a brand new year. How excited are we for 2023? I'm excited. You know, there's a part of me that's like a little bit nervous, but I'm also mostly just excited because I think it's going to be a fantastical year. And since I've decided it's going to be a fantastical year, well, that's half the battle, right? So it's going to be a fantastic year. Hope you have got some amazing goals that you're going to be working towards this year and that you're ready to set off on a brave new adventure for this year. So for this new year, I was thinking the other day, I was listening to a manifestation thingy. Somebody was talking about manifesting and she said, you know, sometimes you have to change your belief system. And I thought, that's really weird. Well, something that I once would have thought was really weird. Like, you had to change your belief system. And I thought it was weird because I didn't understand it. And so today we're going to talk about being brave enough to change your mind. And that comes with lots of different things. I think that yes, you can change your mind in the immediate, not so big, crazy things, but also I don't mean being fickle, but I mean figuring out that maybe things aren't what you thought, and you figure out you want something different. That's the kind of change your mind that I'm thinking about. So, I also recently had this experience where I was doing my makeup for Sunday. I don't really do a lot of makeup, mostly because I do makeup for me and I don't really care that much most of the time. But I like to do my makeup at least for Sunday when I go to church. So, anyway, I was doing makeup and I did this really kind of like fun, silly thing with my eyes. And I was thinking about it, and I was doing my gratitudes that day. Or maybe it was the next day. I said, you know, I never thought I would say this, but I'm kind of grateful for makeup because I realized that it's a form of self-expression, right? It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to feel like you get to be who you want to be. Now, it's so funny because I had to stop and pause in that moment and think, wow, if younger me could see this now. Because I was one of those girls that makeup was stupid, makeup was dumb, and makeup was, you know, all of the things. I just didn't really think makeup was necessary, and I didn't like it, and I thought it just kind of gave people a false sense of who you were, and all these things. Very, very narrow, very small ideas about makeup. Okay. And part of this has come from this fall. I discovered and binged the show Glow Up on Netflix, and it's a makeup contest in Great Britain. And it is just fun to see what people can do with makeup. I mean, they do like things with like the business side of it, you know, like what you would actually do, the jobs, like Fashion Week and things like that. And then they do creative stuff. And it was just kind of like, I thought, kind of inspiring. And all these people that are like, you know, makeup is something that saved my life, and it's just a way of expressing yourself. And it's been interesting because, again, like just with the makeup example, and even when I started wearing makeup, I thought, okay, well, I think makeup is kind of like, there was a part of me that thought makeup was cool and wanted to kind of dive into it. But then I was like holding on to this other part of me that was like, oh no, but I gotta be a tomboy and I gotta be whatever ridiculous little thing I thought I had set for myself. But now I do makeup whenever I want. I wear makeup whenever I want. I do whatever I want with my makeup. I mean, I don't go crazy. I don't go super crazy. But I do things that I like with my makeup and that make me happy. And honestly, I've been a little bit more brave since I've watched that makeup show. And trying different things. Like what does it hurt to try? Because it doesn't hurt to try a lot of times. And I think there are some things that the ideas that we have behind them, or the belief systems as a lot of people call it, they're from a different time, and they're from a whole different world, really. Like, let's be real. It's a whole different world. And people are like, oh no, but Pawnee, this is the same world. No, it's not. Okay, let's be real. We are now living in a world. We are living in a world now that is completely different from when our parents grew up. Okay, let's be real. The world I'm living in right now is completely different from the world I grew up in. And not just because I now live in a different place or whatever, but the world is completely different. Technology has completely changed the world. And I think that while there are lots of not great things, there are a lot of good things in the world still. And the world, there's some really amazing things. So I want to challenge you in this new year to start looking at your belief system and looking at things that you've always thought and maybe questioning them a little bit. Even if it's something as silly as makeup, because like I said, I was one of those people, oh, I'm never going to wear makeup, or it's just supposed to, like, you shouldn't be able to tell you're wearing makeup, or all of these things, which I don't know. Now I just don't care. I wear makeup because I want to. And as I was taking my makeup off last night, actually, because I had done my eyes and I wear whatever bold, bright things I want to. And I had this bright red lipstick on with a glittery gloss over the top, and I had 2 different tones on my eyes. And I was like, oh, I really just liked my makeup yesterday. I really loved it. And then I took it off and I was like, but I really do. I like my face. Like, my face is good. I love it. I love my face without makeup. But I also like sometimes to put on the makeup and to just make my face more sparkly and more who I want to be in that moment. And I don't do things that make me not look like me. They just make me look better. So that's my challenge for you, is to think about what's some things that maybe the way that you think about them is maybe a little dated. My sister and I were having a conversation about something this morning about ways of thinking about something, and she's like, well, that's kind of it really is quite dated, and it's kind of an old-fashioned way of thinking. Not that there's anything wrong with being old-fashioned, but like, there are some things that maybe the ideas that were held umpteen years ago are not really serving you in any kind of way. And I'm not talking about like, okay, I feel like I need to kind of make a distinction here, because one of the things that really put me off to being like, oh, I need to like examine my belief systems and things, is I didn't understand what they meant when they said belief systems, when they were talking about things that you just believe. Like, there has been something has happened in your life that has built up this belief system, and it can be lots of things. It's not just like what you choose to believe about. I thought it was about religion, and it's really not. But things like, I know for me that for a long time, I always felt like I wasn't enough. No matter what I did, it wasn't going to be good enough. It wasn't going to be enough. That's a belief that I realized in the last couple of years that I have had. And working to change that has really opened up my whole world and my whole life. Just like, you know what? I am enough and I can do these things. And what's holding you back in your belief system? Is it that like everything has to be super, super hard, or money is only for certain people, or there's so many things that I think that when we choose to change our minds about them, or we choose to at least look at what we think about those things, that there is this whole world of possibilities that we can kind of tap into. And, just being done with Christmas and stuff, there's another thing that comes to mind. I used to hate Christmas movies. Hated Christmas movies. I thought they were so stupid and cheesy. And then I don't remember when it was in college sometime, I realized, you know what? I don't care that the Christmas movies are super predictable, because they are. And when I had a friend tell me one time, he's like, there's only 6 Christmas movies. And he named them all off, like the basic storylines of pretty much every Christmas movie. And I was like, that's not true. And then as I was watching Christmas movies that year, I realized it kind of is true, but that's not the point. Like, I, at one point, realized Christmas movies are fun, and they help bring the spirit of Christmas, and they were fun for me. So I started watching Christmas movies and stopped being so stinking critical about everything in Christmas movies, and just accepted them for what they were, because they weren't being presented as like, oh, this big, crazy, awesome, like, blow your mind Christmas movie, this new thing. No, they were presenting them for exactly what they were: cheesy, fun, like Christmas movies. And so it's okay to change your mind. It really is. It's okay to change your mind and to grow and evolve. And I think that at this new year, this turning of the page turning of a chapter, I guess, it's a great time to really stop and think about that. Like, what am I thinking? What am I believing? What is it in my life, that maybe I've always wanted to try, or that I've always been stuck in this mindset, but it doesn't feel like it fits anymore. There's so many things to explore, and I think that a lot of times we hold ourselves back in a corner. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of the horse. There's a horse standing there, and it's got a saddle and a bridle on, and the bridle is tied to, like, wrapped around like a plastic chair, like an door, like really light, flimsy plastic chair. And it's like the things that are holding you back are only in your head. And there's a part of me that's like, the ranch girl is like, wow, that's a really well-trained horse. But I think that the point it's making is true. Like, a lot of things that are holding you back are only in your head. But you have to be brave enough to examine what's in your head, and examine what you believe, and examine what your mindset actually is, and be willing to change your mind if that is not the way that it works, if it's not serving you. Another thing that kind of comes to mind that my sister and I were talking about this morning. Okay, for my whole life, and even still, I absolutely love corn. Okay? Love corn. And I grew up in New Mexico, where there's lots of, like, everything is corn, right? Besides just like general, like, chips and tortillas, like, everything is corn, right? You got chips and tortillas and tamales, and we made a corn chili growing up, and corn was everywhere. And in this country, corn is everywhere. Okay, I love popcorn. I love corn on the cob. I love corn in things. I love corn in all of its forms. I have, in the last couple of years, had to acknowledge the fact, I think I've always kind of known, but I've had to acknowledge the fact that I am actually allergic to corn. Okay, I eat corn and my throat swells and everything gets kind of poofy in my, it's not like I go into anaphylaxis, but it definitely, my throat will swell and it will be swollen for days if I have any kind of corn. And for a long time, I think I knew this. Okay, let's be real. I've been pretty aware of my eating and everything. So I've been pretty aware of this for probably 5-10 years, realizing that maybe corn is not the best thing for me. But I loved corn. I loved it in all of its forms. It's like the best thing ever. Popcorn was like one of my favorite things in the whole world. And then, like, a really close second, maybe even surpassing that, was like Mexican street corn. Oh, I love it so much. And then tamales, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, in the last couple of years, as I've changed everything that I thought, you know what? I'm still going to have corn every once in a while. Corn is going to stay because I just love corn so much. And then the first time I had corn, after I hadn't had it for a long time, my throat swelled. And it was swollen for a week. And I realized that it wasn't worth it. That thing that I was determined to keep was not really worth the results. Okay? And so my sister and I were talking about somebody, people that we know that, oh, well, it just, they refuse to do things that they know are good for them because they have this idea in their head of how it should work. And that's not really the way it works, but that's how they think it should work. And so they are holding really tight to that. This shouldn't be this way, even though it really is. So that's just another example of things I've had to, and I've given up corn. And do I miss it? I do miss it so much. And I found substitutes for most things that are made out of corn, but it's kind of hard to find a substitute for the actual corn. But it's been a change in my mindset that, you know what? Changing my mind to, wait, I don't have to have this thing. Yes, I like it. Yes, it's enjoyable, but it has an effect on me that I don't like and that I don't want to be there. So I will just not do it. And I think that it's okay to change your mind, I don't know why food keeps coming up, but other things too. Like, you know what? I really didn't like this thing growing up. It was never very good, but now I eat it and I just really enjoy it. Like I never liked, when I was a kid, I never liked the sharp cheeses, right? Never liked sharp cheeses. I thought blue cheese was like the grossest thing in the world. My dad would eat blue cheese dressing, and I thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world ever. Well, one time I had a salad and I didn't realize that there was a cheese on it, but I didn't realize what kind of cheese it was. Well, it was blue cheese. And I realized I actually really quite enjoy blue cheese. And I enjoy like gorgonzola cheese, and I enjoy the sharper cheeses. I really do. So now I really enjoy them, but it took me being willing to change my mind. And so I think we've talked about this lots about mindset before, but this year and in the first couple weeks of the year, I would challenge you to look at a few things and say, okay, does this really work for me? Is this what I think still? Like, you say, okay, I've always thought XYZ, but is it what I think now? Is it really what I still think? And why am I holding on to this? And if you feel like you can't give it up, you have to hold on to it, then it's probably something you really do need to examine and realize, why am I holding on to this? And am I holding on to it because I actually believe it, or am I holding on to it out of a habit that no longer serves me? So that's my challenge for you in the new year. Happy New Year. I hope that, like I said, that it goes fantastically well and that you find yourself ready to be brave, ready to step out into new adventures and new exciting things and new ways of thinking. And they don't have to be like brand new ways of thinking. They can just be new for you. And that is totally great. And I think that it will serve you better if you're willing to examine what you believe and maybe adjust some things. Maybe adjust what you think about things. And not be so stuck in your old patterns. It's a perfect time to break old patterns and to leave things behind that are no longer serving you. So remember that you are amazing and wonderful and awesome, and that you can have whatever kind of year you decide you're going to have. You just have to be brave enough to work for it and to change your mind if need be, and to keep moving towards those goals, because you are worth the effort. You are, my friend. You are. I will never stop saying that you are totally worth the effort, and you deserve all the happiness in the world. Wish I could give it to you, but happiness that's not how it works, right? You got to make your own happy. So be brave enough to change your mind if it suits you. And remember that you're amazing and awesome and wonderful, and have a happy, happy new year. Fantastical 2023. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and link down below. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to be brave.